Hey lifers, and welcome into the living room with me again on Because Life Can Be a Niche podcast. It is third episode in our second season. We are just really moving along, and I want to thank you guys for riding with us. If you're in your car and you're listening, or you're wherever you listen to your podcast, thank you for that. And for those of you who are watching on the YouTube channel, we appreciate you. Please like, share, comment if you're listening. Let us know what you think, what we should talk about, and we really want to hear it so that we can grow and get better. Anyway, enough of that, plugging that. You guys know how to follow me at Katie Bryant Wright. So I'm gonna move on from that because I want to get on into the topic and get on out of the topic. So today, the tea of the episode, because we always have our tea, and the tea of the episode is black currant. Or is it Currant? Is it Currant? It's spelled C-U-R-A-N-T. I think it's Currant. And it's something that I've found is a really good replacement in terms of getting a jolt of caffeine. If you sometimes just need a little bit from drinks or whatever, then I don't do sodas. I don't do energy drinks. And I'm a coffee in the morning and my tea wind down kind of night. But I have really found that just removing coffee altogether out of my diet has really been helpful. And I've been just getting, because it's tea has caffeine, that's just enough. So I've been drinking black currant. So it's really good. It has a great flavor. Give it a try. Tell me what you think. Send me your tea suggestions because I have my favorites, but I always like to try new ones. So let me know. Anyway. The topic for today, what we're going to talk about today is cutting things that don't serve you and don't matter. And that's a topic for me where I found in last year, in 2020, there were so many things that we had to cut out of our lives or stop doing or temporarily put a pause because of everything that was happening in the world. And I looked back and I was like, well, what have I cut that, or what did I need to cut that wasn't serving me well? Like, what did I cut in the panoramic that I probably should have cut anyway? And then what else can I keep cutting? So, I call this episode Cut It Girl, because there are a lot of things that were revealed in 2020 for me that I found were not serving a purpose at all. And some were heavy. Some were like, oh man, I should have done it a long time ago. I should have been doing that. And others were like revelations, like like, wow, look at this. How come why nobody tell me? So I'm just going to drop a few of the things that I cut, and maybe you might have something you want to cut, or if you evaluated what you kept or what you reintroduced. I actually cut stuff and then brought it back and then cut it again because I realized now I absolutely do not need that. One of the light, easier ones was these babies here. I used to be very diligent about getting my nails done like every 3 to 4 weeks. Y'all thought I was going to say 2, didn't you? Yeah, say no. Fooled you. It was every 3 to 4 weeks. And that my polish would last. My salon was really good and good at what they did because my nails didn't get the lines or crack or anything. I've done the SNS powder. I prefer gel. And I was doing that, until everything got shut down last year. The funny, interesting part about it was right around 3 months of not going to get my nails done, I realized how much I didn't miss it. I thought it was going to be a thing. Like, I can't believe I can't go get my nails done because I like to coordinate. So whatever polishes on my toes, that's the polishes on my fingers. And I found like I was still paying my salon because I wanted them to keep going. I didn't want them to go under. So I was like, okay, just consider this like I'm just buying, a gift card or whatever to redeem later. But I just wanted them to have that regular money coming in, you know, in hopes that they could stay afloat. And I did that with some other services too. But this one, yeah, you know, I made sure, like, oh, I normally make an appointment. Let me just go ahead and pay. And I'll just redeem them or I'll gift them or whatever. And so all that, let's fast forward to this year. Finally went back into the salon a couple of months ago. So even well into this year, I was still creeping back. And I've gotten my nails done 3 times. And I was like, man, I really don't need this anymore. I don't need my nails done. And I just figured out, like, I wouldn't have known that if I didn't have to cut it if I didn't have to stop, I wouldn't have known that I didn't need it. But I mean, this is just natural. It's working out for me. So, I noticed when I was getting my nails done, like I was getting little cracks and stuff in them. And I know I type a lot, but no more than I was before everything happened. And every single time. And I was like, what is going on with my nails that a week in and they've got lines on them and all this stuff? I think my nails are like, girl, you know we don't do this no more. You know we natural. So I just said, well, you're right. I'm going to save that money because that's an expense that I could use the money to do something else with. Because if you really think about it and how much I was paying to do that and then tip, that's some vacation money or something that could just go to something else. So that's one thing that I cut, which leads me to the second thing that I cut. Bills. I don't even know if it was just being at home all the time, or you were at home so much that you really had to find other means of entertainment. But I started paying closer attention to where money was going for eating out and for entertainment, like, you know, movies and all the stuff that we were just doing, and I wasn't budgeting. And so that was really the big thing, was like my budget. Like, how can I stretch these dollars, and how can I make my money longer and really see a difference? I got real serious about my money, y'all. Like, I knew I always had, I think I had ostrich syndrome with my budgeting. And because, you know, I have the money, I have a budget, I pay my bills on time, but I found myself not really wanting to see the exact, like the total, because I knew it was some shenanigans up in there. I knew it. I knew there were places in there that I would just cringe if I saw like the running total of expenses to income. And I said, okay, well, let me reduce the cable. Let me reduce this stuff. And so I really got serious, and I was like, girl, we need to cut some of these expenses. First of all, we're not even using them. Secondly, what are you paying for that you've forgotten about that you don't use? And I think that's where I really got intentional about my money and cutting my budget down to the point where, like, what do we need to function? And then how can we benefit and use that money toward real stuff? Spending everything, Lord have mercy. And so I looked at my budget, pulled my bank accounts, and just started like pulling everything, every little thing. And I don't know about you guys, but the $4.99 a month, $9.99 a month, $7.99 a month for things that I could not remember what it was for. I had a recurring charge of $49 every month for all 2 years. I just stopped it because I thought I stopped it before. I need to check on that. So I really thought I stopped it before. And I noticed that the charge was still there a couple of months ago. I said, dang, I knew I cut this off. I don't know. I'm going to check and see. Because if I find an email where I said, y'all stop charging me for this, And it was stuff that I used at the time for, doing this, the podcasting stuff. And it was presets for photography because I was, really going to ramp my skills up because I have a professional camera. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to take stills and it's going to be on and I'm going to be out there. Most of my pictures have been taken with my phone or my son's phones. And I have not been out here using all these presets like I thought I would. But I paid for so many, I can just go download them and I'm good. I should have stopped that service a long time ago because I wasn't taking advantage of the classes that were being offered and all that. And, shout out to the guy who is offering all this stuff for $49 a month. It was a good deal at the time. But if you say 12 times 5 is $600, $600 a year. And I'm not professional. I'm not trying to be. That was a big expense that just made me kick myself. And so once I added up all these things, we have 3 Amazon accounts. And I don't know how it happened. I don't know which one to really cut off. That's another issue. And I know one was my father's before he passed. And so my mom and dad were both using that account. So I get that. But I'm thinking, is it Prime? I think it's Prime, which means there's a charge. Is there a monthly charge? Are they charging for the year? Nobody's noticing it because it's just going on some card. That's the kind of stuff that I really got intentional about with my money and saving money and putting it where it needed to be and just cutting things that I didn't need. And once I looked at that budget, like my heart it was the ostrich syndrome. It's like, I knew I shouldn't have looked. I knew it because now that I know better, I got to do better. And budgeting to me is hard work. And I know it's necessary. I've shared before, I'm a divorced mom of 2 boys. So I'm like always concerned about making sure things are in order financially. Like, your insurance and all of this stuff. But over here out in La La Land, it's just nothingness. Recurring nothingness. And so once I got serious about it and I looked at it, I put it aside because that's what 2020 made a lot of people do. People are like, when 2020 gonna be over? Let's is it over yet? So I put it aside. Like, I'm just gonna wait. I got a lot of work to do because I gotta clean this up. And I've got to clean my lifestyle up because we're just living. I mean, I have savings, yes. I have all that stuff off the top. I tithe. All that's taken care of. That comes off the rip. But then all the money that's left, is not being put to good use. It's just, and I ain't saying like all Mama Warbucks. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what was left over was being misused and abused. And I had to get real clear on what I wanted, what I really wanted, and where I wanted my money to go, and how I wanted to teach my children what I wanted them to know about money. So that's another. I signed up for Dr. Lynn Richardson's the Wealth University. I just said, I'm just going to go cold turkey. I'm not going to be tipping in and out, buying one book and taking one class. Let me just jump in. I did that this year to get my mind right about how I'm managing money. So, even if you're not like in dire straits or you're not, about to go bankrupt or whatever, if you're not mindful of every penny that comes in and goes out, you might be just bleeding money that you don't even know about. And I mean, maybe that's a privilege and a curse. It's a privilege that I'm blessed to have the income and have the job, to have the income, have the savings. And the curse is that, things were not dire enough that I was counting every penny, because I remember when I struggled, and I remember when I was robbing Peter to pay Paul and living check to check, net to net, and or as Dr. Richardson would say, check to Monday. because you get paid on Friday, it was gone by Monday because by the time you paid your bills, it was gone. And I remember being so mindful of like every little thing, because you really are mindful of every little thing when there's no cushion there, or when you're like trying to get ahead and you just making enough. But you know, as time has gone on and you have a little bit of cushion, you have a little bit, and not even a lot, y'all. I ain't talking about like, oh yeah, I can just, if I get laid off, I can be off for a year. That ain't me. That's not my ministry, not yet. But that's where I'm trying to get to. If I get laid off, if this regular thing doesn't work, where's my passive income coming in? Where's this coming in? So I had to cut my mindset about money, and then cut my mindset about the things that I was letting my money be spent on. And that just, man, when I just pulled every little thing and looked, because now I got to work. I got so much work to do. But that's one thing. So cutting expenses that don't serve our family and I don't really need. You think you need, all these cable channels, but you really don't. I mean, I cut Turner Classic Movies. And y'all might, if you just tuning in, you may not know this about me. If you follow me on Instagram, you might know this about me, but I am an old classic movie buff. Like, I didn't think there was TV before Turner Classic Movies, because all of these old black and white movies, or even not even black and white, old classics, like The Birds and stuff like that. You'd be surprised what all kinds of stuff I watch. And I found such joy just sitting down, chilling, watching that. I cut it, y'all, because they started, I was cutting my cable bill, looking at everything that I could reduce. And I think I'm just going to cut the cable off. I haven't done it yet, but I think that's what I'm going to do. And, I called them and I said, well, I want to keep all of these channels because these are the things I really like and I enjoy. And these are things I care less about. And, she was on the phone with me and she said, now you have to have the extended sports package in order to get Turner Classic Movies. And I was like, say what now? Because I love my sports, but I don't need the extended package. Whatever, just give me whatever y'all showing for regular people. That's what I need, because I'm regular people sports. I'm not going to be up at night, trying to see different activities. I'm going to follow my teams. I'm going to follow the playoffs, and I'm out. So she said, well, no, in order to have Turner Classic Movies, they have now requested that they be included in this extended sports package. Which I was thinking they weren't included in the sports package that was extra when I signed up for y'all's service. And they weren't. And she said, I know, but that's what it is now. And I kept it, at that time when I was calling. This was like right at 2020, like toward the end. But just a couple of weeks ago, no, I'm lying. Last week, I snipped that cord and I said, I'm going to miss you, Turner Classic Movies. I love it. I wish I could be a host. Like if they had this lay people, I'm not a movie expert or anything like that. But if you just wanted lay people to just talk about how great this is, how great the dialogue of something is, and how wonderful a story is in old movies. I think some of the best writing was done in old movies. Anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. That ain't even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about cutting things that no longer serve you. And that extra $10 a month is $100 a year. I mean, no. I ain't majoring in math. $120 a year. And I was like, what else am I paying for extra in addition to what I'm thinking is my cable package? And then it's like, oh, you were paying $9.99 for this. You're paying $14.99. Cut it all. So I think that kind of goes into the whole budget about the minding your money kind of thing. But that's just something where, I just had to do hard things. And that's a hard thing because I don't remember, since I've been an adult and in my own place, I don't remember not having access to Turner Classic Movies. Don't remember not having it. So now I don't. And sometimes I'll hit the little channel and it'll be like a subscription is required. I was like, I know it is, and I ain't paying for that subscription because I'm not gonna watch sports like that. Y'all got me. But it's just some things that I had to just get clear on and just free myself. And the other thing, y'all, that I have learned to cut, and this is the biggie, like this the old aha moment, I guess, was cutting ties with relationships that, weren't serving me, and I knew I wasn't serving them either. And that one was a little tricky because, to be honest, I left a church that I had been serving in for years, and I grew a lot in this church. My kids loved it. It was working out beautifully because it was everything that I needed at the time spiritually. And it was education. And that, if you watch the episode with my bestie, the first episode back this season, I shared, I don't need all the pomp and circumstance, a whole bunch of singing and all that. I pregame my music. I listen to all my gospel on my way to church. I listen to gospel every morning in praise and worship time. So I don't need all of that. I need just teach me. And that's what I was getting. I was getting taught. There's a whiteboard and everything. And I'm like, it's a whiteboard. I'm there. And so it had become evident with what was happening in our world politically and racially and spiritually that I knew that I could no longer be in this place because we had conflicting values and beliefs and ideals. And I knew I wasn't going to be of service. And if you're in a place of worship where you're really dealing with your spirit and your growth in Christ and God in servitude, and you in there and the world opinions are impacting your worship or your teaching or whatever you're doing, you might have to cut it. And I cut it. And it took me a long time. That was probably the hardest one because I literally started grappling with it months before the panoramic of 2020. It was other things I was really grappling with, and I just kept praying and just going to God, like, God, do you want me here? Is this where I need to be? And not just, and it goes both ways. That's why I said, if I'm not serving, if your glory, if there's no glory there because I'm here, like, I mean, that's what you believe, that's what you're thinking, because then what am I doing? How am I serving this situation? I'm not, and I'm feeling some type of way going there, feeling some type of way leaving. So eventually it got to the point where it was time to sever ties and just move to a place where I could serve freely and openly and spiritually and be fed and feed others and serve and do what I was called to do, and not be distracted by worldly things that really vex me to the point where I'm like, I can't, not right here, I cannot. So that was one. That was a cut it girl, cut it child, cut it boo thing that took me a long time to get there. And when I finally got to that point where when the panoramic happened, it was like, yes, this is the answer I was looking for. And I was at peace. That's why I know I did the right thing. And I know so many people. I have so many people in my circle who have cut ties with organizations or people or, friendships, fanships, whatever you want to call them, because they were no longer, last year revealed a lot. It unveiled a lot. And I'm grateful for everything that was revealed and unveiled in that season. it was a hard year because we had a lot of loss and a lot of uncertainty that still carried over, and we still got mess. It was a messy year. It was just, people were saying earth is ghetto. I want to leave. Earth ain't ghetto, by the way. People on earth might be the problem, but the earth is still just the earth. But the earthlings, that's where the ghetto is. It's just how we act and how we behave. But a lot of people evaluated those things and just severed. Now, reason, I always see these quotes like, you may grow beyond, people, and you can't take everybody where you want to go. I never posted that. I never said that. I don't necessarily believe that's the case for me. I don't outgrow people, but I might outgrow purpose. So, because we're here, I think we're here to serve each other. I think people are here to be connected upward and then connected outward. Upward with God and then outward with each other in relationship. And I didn't outgrow the people, but my purpose there was outgrown. I learned what I need to learn. I was taught what I need to be taught. I learned perspectives that I had not heard or considered before, and I grew. But when it became a point where I stopped growing, then it's time to go. And so that is what I have cut it. Sometimes it's hard to look at situations, that maybe you think are permanent, that they're really seasonal, or, look at people and be like, oh, but I love you so much, but I'm gonna have to love you from way over there because I can't be over here with this, what you got going on. And you can't be with me with what I got going on, because I may be vexing you as much as you vexing me. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying my thought is, we're all human. I'm not saying my thought is 100% either. But I know where there's no growth anymore. And so cutting it happened. And so that's, where 2020 just led to a lot of that. It was a lot of loss and a lot of hurt, but there was some good that came out of people realizing what really mattered, or people being revealed for who they really were. I mean, you can say, well, there was nothing good. Oh yes. What was good is I literally found, I'm ashamed to tell y'all how much money in recurring fees and stuff I wasn't using that was going out. But let's just say it was more than $100 a month. I need to take some water. I can't even sip tea. I knew not to look at that budget. I knew not to do it. That's why it took me so long. But it was worth it to just evaluate. And I don't know, like, y'all tell me what you think. I mean, have you discovered things that you just don't need anymore, and you are, just cut and just let go? I know that, those are some biggies. Those were biggies for me. It was biggies for me because it required work. I had to do some hard work. I had to look at, really needs and wants. I'm always telling my kids, what do you need? Is that a need or a want? And then I had to look at me like, hey girl, look at your budget. Is this a need or a want? Or I don't even know what this is anymore. So, I paid the piper. I'm paying the piper now because I'm still in my class, in my finance class. I'm going to talk about that on another episode, about just financially, where are we? People don't like to talk about it because I wanted to think I had it together. Like, oh, I got my money together. I got this together. But really, no, you don't. Not if you don't know where every penny is going. My dad was good about that. Like, he knew and he did it. He didn't even use a calculator. He just did it longhand. Maybe that was the teacher in him. Just carrying over and everything. I know they don't teach that anymore. I know that's not the new math. But he was just doing, And I was like, man, I should have been sitting there. I should have been doing that instead of what I was doing. You know, sometimes, you know, technology is a curse because everything's automated. And so you're like, well, I don't know I don't know this. I forgot this was, what, because it's just happening. You're oblivious to it. So anyhow, that's it. That's all. I just had to hop on real quick and just say, y'all, you know, let me know what you think. What have you cut? You know, I really want this to be a conversation. I really want to talk with some people about it. So if you're willing to come on the show, holler at me and let me know, you know, if you want to come share, because, you know, this is something where I think at a community topic, you know, that can really help each other. I mean, if it's nothing else, if I can't say anything else that might be helpful, evaluate where your money is going. Evaluate where your energy and your time and your spirit is being pulled to the point where you're not fed up enough to leave, but you ain't really happy and growing. And evaluate like little creature comforts that you really may not need, that you can put money elsewhere. That's what I did. It blessed me. I hope it blesses you. That's all, y'all. Thank you for rolling, riding, rocking with us always. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming into the living room, doing life with us. And, you know, just like, share, follow me on Instagram. I share a lot more on Instagram and with pictures and stories and everything else. So at Katie Bryant Writes. Okay, y'all. Whew. I got to do some budget work right now. Right this minute. Y'all be good. And I will see you. When I see you, be good to yourselves and be good to each other. And thank you for riding with us.